I'm very, very excited to have the AIW 2023 JT Lightning tournament winner with us now. The one and only Eric Taylor's here. Hello, congratulations.
How's it going, guys? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, loves to have you. Jeremy, this was your ask and your book, so I'm giving you first question.
Okay, well, yes, thank you for joining us today, Eric. I know it was a busy weekend for you, so right off the bat, just how was your overall weekend experience in winning the AIW JT Lightning Invitational?
Better than I ever could have imagined. Something that, you know, at this stage in my career, just coming off of a tag team run, I didn't think was going to be possible. And so being able to realize it this early on I couldn't even imagine it. So it's been very, very fun. Very good weekend.
Okay, you beat Wes Barkley in the first round, and then Wes Barkley shows up on AEW. I believe the following night, he was on Collision. He was getting beat. So you have a win over AEW star Wes Barkley is how I'm taking that, right?
100%, as it should be.
So you face Wes Barkley, you share the ring with Chavo Guerrero, you face Alec Price, who a lot of people are high on, myself included. Mance Warner, another person who's been on AEW TV. Just being in the ring with these guys in a 2-day span, like you're pretty young still in the business. Just in a 2-day span, sharing the ring with all this kind of talent. Anything like you learned, picked up, whether it was in the ring or backstage from them?
Well, Chavo is one of those guys that, I mean, his wrestling mind is just above everyone else, like tenfold. And he was just doing some crazy stuff all weekend. I mean, a lot of times legends come in and they kind of want to take it easy. They don't really want to do too much, which is understandable. And Chavo was just open for everything. He was open ears. He was given ideas and all this stuff. And he just couldn't have been better. So with that, I think it was kind of humbling to know that, you know, people still care, even though they've been to the highest of highs and, you know, been to the biggest stages, and they still care. As far as, you know, what I learned, I think that I really got the experience needed in a single setting. Like I said, we just got off of this tag team run that I was on for the past 4 years, pretty much most of my career. So just being able to get more of that experience to, you know, be under the bright lights by myself was it was a great learning experience, and it was just a great experience overall.
I'm gonna read a tweet to you that I need some answers. I guess my dad bonded with Chavo Guerrero over Elvis, and my mom invited Paul London to our hot tub. Wild card. So 2 questions. 1, talk about the bonding over Elvis, because I didn't know Chavo was such an Elvis fan. And 2, is Paul London your dad now?
I had it when I was kind of trying to prepare for this interview. I knew that tweet was going to come up. So I was prepared for this question. So Chavo was wearing a Elvis t-shirt. So Elvis has this symbol, which we have the Elvis thing right here, but he has a symbol. It's like TCB with a lightning bolt. I don't know why that symbol is like his thing. I think it's some sort of group that he might have been a part of back in the day or something. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But my dad has it on his saddlebag on his motorcycle. And so I noticed that he was wearing it earlier, and I was like, oh, like he's an Elvis fan. That's pretty cool. So we get through the night, we get through the tournament and everything. And, you know, just giving Chavo my thanks, you know, tell him thank you for coming up. Thank you for everything. Have safe travels, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't planning on going to the after party at all. We get back and I see my family, and they're like, hey, are we going to the after party? I was like, I guess, sure. I mean, I'm tired. I'm sore. I kind of want to just go home and sleep, but I guess we'll go. So we're going, and, you know, we go to the bar, we have fun, we're having some drinks or whatever. And so Chavo's getting ready to walk past me, and I just, you know, I took my moment just to say thank you again. And, you know, showing my appreciation towards him, I said, hey, by the way, I love your shirt. I'm a big Elvis fan. This is my dad right here. He's a big Elvis fan. And so they introduced themselves to each other. They started talking about it. He's like, yeah, I have it on my motorcycle, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of just took a step back, and I was like, my dad is talking to Chavo Guerrero. Like, not something that I ever would have imagined myself witnessing, you know, like willing, like just such a weird thing. And so then fast forward, we get home, and we were all kind of just like talking about the night as we usually do. And so my sister was there also with her husband, and my brother-in-law goes, "Yeah, I think that your mom invited one of the wrestlers into your hot tub." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Which one?" And my sister, she's like, "The one that came out singing." And I was like, "Paul London?" I was like, "My mom invited Paul London to the hot tub." Like, what was the context of the conversation? I forget what it was, but I was just like, if you would have told me that 4 years ago, like just one of those moments where you're just on cloud nine from it, just absolutely surreal happening twice. Two things just couldn't have been happier. I mean, I was just smiling from ear to ear when I heard that and when I witnessed all of it. So.
Wait, did Paul London take the offer? Did you hang out in the hot tub with Paul
Hey,
London?
man, I didn't even know about it till I got home. But next time I see him, I'll be like, "Hey, man, whenever you want, let's do it." So
I'll give you. By the way, I'll give you your Elvis lore. The TCB with the lightning bolt, taking care of business in a flash.
Okay, fair.
There you go.
Yeah, so we I mean, like I said over here, my dad was always just like a really, really big Elvis fan. I grew up with this, so I listen to Elvis all the time. I love Elvis. And so growing up, we would always listen to it. Like we would just hang out in the garage during the summers and just listen to it and talk or whatever, sit on the deck. And so I always like really loved it. And I knew that like it was kind of his thing. I just didn't ever really know why. So thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Have you seen this new Elvis movie? I guess it's not new at this point. But...
The one with what's his name? Austin Butler?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it like 4 times.
Okay, so you're a fan of it.
For the most part. I liked it. I was not a fan of the modern music in it. I think that they should have just kept it with the regular Elvis soundtrack and kept it that way. It was different. And they took a risk, just not a risk that I enjoyed, which is fine. You know, it's a lot like wrestling. So different flavors of ice cream, like everyone says.
Now I'm going to ask, how do you feel about Elvis impersonators? Or is that something you're a fan of or what?
I've never seen one in person. That's actually funny. My girlfriend's family had a big party with another family, and they had like a joint party wherever they do it every year, and they had an Elvis impersonator there, and I guess they ran into some trouble with him. So that was really that's my only experience with it, but I wasn't even there. So I don't know. Impersonations are always weird. If it's good, then yeah, do it. But it's like it's never going to be the same, you know. So just depends.
Yeah, we got to get you out to Vegas we'll get a booking in Vegas, get you a wrestling show, and then plenty of Elvis impersonators out there. How'd you get started at AIW? They're big. I'm in Ohio as well, and they're to me top organization in Ohio. And you're young, starting out your career. But how'd you get started with AIW?
So we found, long story short, we found the academy and started training there. I don't know if you guys, I mean, I'm sure you guys heard of Chuck Stone. Chuck Stone was in the tournament this past weekend. Me and Chuck went to high school together. So he was 2 years ahead of me. He graduated. He was in college. I was getting ready to graduate. He's like, "Hey man, I'm going to start finding schools." We always talked about wrestling. And so we found a place when I was still a junior and lied about my age on it. So we went to a tryout. It was fine. We got in the ring for the first time. It's still just one of those moments you'll never forget. You're just like, I'm in a wrestling ring. Like, just a really cool moment. And then I was like, I have to graduate high school first. Like, I at least have to do that for myself. So in long story short, getting ready to graduate high school. I was originally planning to just go through college completely before I even started. And Chuck was like, "Hey man, found this place called AIW. You want to go scout it?" We're like, "Yeah, sure." So we went to a couple shows. We're like, this place is nuts. Like we see like Jeff Jarrett, Raymond Rowe, like all these like stars. And we were like, we have to go for this. We can't not take this opportunity. This place is insane. So we did it. And long story short, here we are. So.
I'm reading that Dominic Arena was one of your trainers. Is that true? So
yep.
You two had a banger of a match in 2021. It was a 20-minute time limit draw. Talk to me about that experience, not only wrestling your trainer, but wrestling at AIW, a place that really you're getting your start in.
Yeah, that's one that I always love to look back on, because it was just, again, one of those things where, so we were still kind of in a tag team, me and Mikey, and so getting to have like a showcase of a singles match like that was a huge opportunity, and it was nerve-wracking, but it was such a good experience to learn how to go that long and, make it entertaining and make it, full. I always tell the story, like, I started bleeding in that match because I got hit in the nose, and it was the first time I started bleeding in a match, and I was like, dude, what is this? So like I'm like losing a ton of blood from my nose, come down from a power bomb, and I was just loopy, and I smack my head, get turned around into submission, and it was supposed to be this finish where like the bell's ringing, and then I start tapping, right? So it was supposed to be this draw, and I'm passing out. Like I'm like, dude, oh my, like I'm like passing out from like pain and like blood loss, and I hear the bell, and I'm like, thank God. I'm like, holy shit. But that is one of the most fun matches I think that I've ever had, just because the story with it, and the fact that it was a time limit draw. I mean, me and him always go back to that one. We're like, dude, like if that was in front of a crowd though, like dang, because it was one of those like COVID shows. We're like, man, if that was in front of a crowd, I think it would have just absolutely crushed.
So you mentioned nearly passing out against Dominic Garrini. You've been in the ring with a few people who have hit pretty hard. Josh Bishop, he's been on the show. A lot of people, Mick Stiffy out there. Yes. Tom Waller, who's hit you the hardest?
Someone this weekend. I don't know who, but my jaw is sore, man. Like I was trying to eat a granola bar before this, and I couldn't like chew right. Like I'm like, dude, who hit me? So it was one of the people that I wrestled this weekend. I just don't know who it was. I don't know when it happened. It was probably Sam Holloway, dude. He's freaking nuts. Or Mance Warner, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it could have been any one of them. But
yeah, I was gonna put the blame on old Manser. That's just me. Listen, so you're young in your career, and let's go back to 2021. Effy's Big Gay Brunch. Mm-hmm. You were in Perro's Twink Hunter Tag Team Gauntlet with your tag team partner, the Bitcoin Boys, Mikey Montgomery. Talk to me from soup to nuts, getting that particular booking and then working a show like Effy's Big Gay Brunch, which is like totally different from your traditional pro wrestling card.
Yeah, that was definitely something different for me. So funny story, my sister's friend from high school lives down in Tampa. And so he just moved down there, and I told him that I was coming down for a show. I was like, hey, come to the show. And he was like, sure. So he's there, and he sees some of the stuff that's going on before, and he's like, this is interesting, man. This is interesting. I'm like, yeah, just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. Like it's definitely not your traditional wrestling show, but like it's entertaining as hell, And he sees it, and he was like, dude, that was so much fun. And I was like, cool. Like you're not sitting here and judging me from it. Because some people will come to shows, just regular shows even, and just be like, hey, like this is really weird. And you're like, yeah, I know. But you love it, right? And that was something too, like, I don't know if this is bad to say, but so being in that backstage area, so like I'm straight, right? Like I and from what I heard when we were going through all that is, it's a show to showcase a lot of, these gay performers and the performers for the LGBTQ community and everything. And, so I'm backstage, and I'm like, man, like I don't necessarily fit here. I don't want to step on any toes, and I don't want to be like taking spots away from some of those other people. But, Perro and Odinson were just, they were really good too. I mean, they were just so welcoming to all of us and so nice to all of us. And they were giving. I mean, they were just really good guys. And so that was a fun experience. And just to be able to go down to Tampa for WrestleMania weekend, I mean, that's a huge honor in my book. So
Effy in the Big Gay Brunch is one, you're straight, but including everybody, and that's the whole thing. Effy has been on a few shows, and the whole thing is just like it's just a giant party. It doesn't matter, gay, straight, just everybody's just here to party.
Right, and that was like what getting towards the end of the show. I was like, dude, this is just a huge. It's a bash. Like I mean, he named it the exact right way. And Effy's another one, man. Like every time I see him, he's just such a nice guy. He's so pleasant. He just has such a presence about him. And I just try to make it a point to just go up, give him a hug, just be like, hey man, like how you doing? I haven't seen him in a minute, but I love that guy. He's awesome.
The pandemic, when it was a tough time for everybody, but you just starting your wrestling career in like 2019, and then very shortly after you get hit with the pandemic, you have to kind of take time off, because I know AIW wasn't really running shows during that time. What was that like, going from just kind of getting started, getting my feet wet and everything, and now we got to stop almost immediately?
Yeah, that was I think it was hard on everyone for sure. There was some positives in the fact that it got me in the gym, so that was cool. I got so bored that I just started just doing curls, and eventually just was able to beef up a little bit, which I think helped me overall. But it was definitely mentally taxing, because you're like, man, like I use wrestling as an outlet, for creativity and for all this stuff, and if I'm stressed, I get to take out my stress or whatever, and so not having that for a while was definitely mentally taxing. And then you start thinking like, my career just lost a whole year, like not even from something in your control. It's not like you got like injured or something or whatever. Like it's just this crazy freak thing that happened. And so going through that, then you're just like, I just need something. I need to do anything and everything that I can to get there. So, you start taking some of these backyard bookings and, these places that are just running in driveways just to get some reps in, because you haven't gotten reps in how many months. And that was one of those things that kept us going at that point, because, we were traveling down up to Michigan and, the Detroit area and everything, just doing all these backyard bookings. And that was really what got us our reps at that time, to give us, some sort of learning experience to kind of bridge us to when we were getting out of the pandemic. So just trying to stay busy at that time,
All right, we're going to do this kind of Hot One style. Explain that, Graham. I'm going to pull up a photo of you at a show last year. You were dressed up as John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics. First of all, we'll talk about your love of John Cena, but I also want to know, as Halloween approaches this year, who do you want to dress up as this year for your big cosplay?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't even thought about it yet. Are we talking like wrestling cosplay, or just like in general?
Anyone you want. It's your it's your gimmick. You can do as you want.
Right. Wow, man. I don't know. That's I haven't thought about it yet. Usually it just comes to me like the week of, and then I have to scramble to find something and like put something together. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe I'll do Elvis. Maybe I'll be an Elvis impersonator this year.
There we go.
I'm into it.
Try to break out some moves. I can't dance at all, but we could try.
Neither could Honky Tonk Man, but he made an entire career out of doing it. So good. Yeah. So, but what about the John Cena attire? Like, what made you want to do that whole gimmick?
Thinking back on it, what was I thinking? I think for that was right after I started doing like my version of the 5-knuckle shuffle, and then I wanted to wear my Trinity jersey. That was my high school football jersey. And then I was like, let's just go all out and just be John Cena. Let's just go for it, So I was like, all right, how can I do this? So I'm Basic Thugonomics John Cena. So I got the jersey, I have the shorts, I have the hat. And then I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I could do like the knuckle things. But I was like, how do you even do that? So then I just cut pieces of cardboard up and then just wrapped tape around it and just drew Bright Future on it and it's one of those things where it's like, it's so stupid. Like, like it's not supposed to be a serious thing, and so I thought it was pretty funny. I enjoyed it. Some of my friends laughed at it, but I don't know. I thought it was cool.
I liked it. That's why I brought it up.
Very, very important John Cena related question. Will you ever be caught in the next man's sweater?
I saw that tweet from you. I saw when you messaged me. I went back and I saw.
Oh, that's not good. Oh no! Please don't check my time.
Dude, I was like, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. I love it. I love it. I don't think I can be, right? I can't. That's the whole thing. I don't think I ever will be.
My last one. Oh man. My last one for you, Eric. Being from Ohio myself, I moved here. Not against my will, but you know, it's Ohio. A lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about Ohio, sometimes myself included. Say something nice about Ohio. Where's like a nice spot to visit? Just something good about Ohio.
Something good about Ohio. I think that our summers can compete with any summer in the country. I think Cleveland is very, very underrated. I think that the flats have been renovated a ton. Being in the downtown area is beautiful. I love Ohio. I friggin' love it. I mean, I don't want to leave it. I think that there's a lot of play, dude. If you go to like the Solstice Steps in Lakewood, that's beautiful. I mean, there's a ton of beautiful spots to go. So I don't know. People give Ohio a lot of crap, but it's better than like Pittsburgh. So
now we're gonna get a Pittsburgh war. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good. We played the Steelers tonight, man. So I gotta.
That is true. That is true. See, I'm a Panthers fan. Moved from North Carolina, so my team's playing tonight at like 7, and then the wife is from Ohio, and she's a Browns fan, so she's playing at 8. So
there you go. You guys get the full double header. Sam Holloway is a Panthers fan too. I was making fun of him.
I mean, that's fair. There's not a whole lot of celebrating going on in Panthers land right now.
Yeah.
So
I think Bryce Young's gonna be good though.
Hopefully. The first game was tough one.
Yeah.
One game as a rookie.
He's a rookie. Yeah.
See, I'm a Canadian, so I have no dog in the fights. Nobody cares. And nobody cares about Canadian football. No. Eric, thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Joel.
I was gonna say thank you for joining us, and I feel like next time we have you, I'm going to be asking you a bunch of Beatles questions because that's high on my list. But I know we only have so much time with you, and we want to be respectful of that. So thank you, Eric Taylor, the AIW JT Lightning tournament invitational tournament winner. It's more than a mouthful to say. Congratulations once again. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to watching you bloom and blossom into this fantastic wrestler you've become.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, let everybody know where they can find you at as well, Eric.
So kind of really, other side. Right here at Future2Bright on Twitter and Instagram. And then if you guys feel so inclined to buy some merch, you want to buy a t-shirt, buy a hoodie, buy a hat, it's going to be future2bright.bigcartel.com. So you can find me 3 of those places. And TikTok too, if you want to follow me on TikTok. Same place.
There you go.
There it is.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you very much.